Hello everyone, I proudly welcome you to this quick Microsoft Access database tutorial brought to you by Akos Datatex. My name is Akos Smiler, your instructor in this tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to share with you on how to make a very simple but then elegant working queue management database in Microsoft Access. If you happen to have a business or a company, a very little company, whereby always you encounter queues and you're wondering how to actually manage queues and then assign ticket numbers to them, this video is actually for you, because here I share with you how you are going to actually do a very working system in Access that will actually put people in a waiting list. As you can see over here, when I serve somebody and I just click save, the system will move the person from the waiting list. So let's say this person with a ticket number 7274. If I come in here and search for 7274, and now you can see the student is waiting. So as soon as I click save, now this person jumps and the next person in the queue will actually pop up. So now over here we have those people in the queue that are waiting, and we have those people that have been saved already. And now this actually works every day. So the next day you may not actually see these guys over here. Now when someone comes, you just click new. Now what is the person's name? So let's say Asamoah Bedu. So let's say Asamoah Bedu. Now it's a male. So what's the reason? So let's say kid checkup. So kid checkup. Now we put him in the waiting list, so you can see now he is the fourth person here. So he's the fourth person. Now what we do is that we just check in and we can print the ticket. So you print this ticket, and the ticket, you can see it has the ticket number, the client's name, the date, and then the ticket code. Okay, so now how do we actually do this in Microsoft Access? So guys, sit back and relax. I'm going to take you through from scratch how to come by a queue management database in Microsoft Access. Okay, if you've not subscribed to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your little bell notification icon so that anytime that I put a video here, YouTube will give you a notification. Okay guys, so let us go into the tutorials. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that we are going to create a blank database. So right from here I'll go to file, now I'll go to new, so blank database. Okay, so what is the database name? So I'll say queue, so queue manager DB. Okay, so queue manager DB. Now let's just choose a location for this database. Okay, so we are going to keep the database in the document folder. So document folder, let's create a folder. Now we'll say queue database MS Access. Okay, so now that we have this, we put it here, we hit open. Okay, all right, so now this database we've created is going into the folder, and you can see the folder right here. So we click create. Alright, so now guys, we have our queue database created for us over here. So let's close it here. Okay, so now the first table that we are actually going to create is going to be the table that will store the customer's information or the client's information, or I mean the entrance information. So you go to create, and now we go to table design. Okay, so now that we are here, so what is we are going to assign an ID. So here we say client's ID. So this is going to be an auto number field. Now the format, let's make it a 3-digit numbering. So we click here, we make it a primary key. Okay, now here we're going to say gender. So what is the gender? So gender is going to be a lookup. So we click here, make it a lookup. Now I want to look up to get the values. No, we want to type in the values that we want. So we come in here. Now we type in male or female. Okay, so male or female, we go to next, limit to list. Now we click finish. Now let us save the table. So click save. Now you can say clients TB, or let's say TBL clients. Okay, now what is the reason for the visits? So this one, we can make it a long text. So now what is the status? So this person is in the queue. What is the status? So the status as usual is also a lookup, so we go to lookup wizard, we'll type in the values that we want, we go to next. Now we have waiting, now we have served, then we have serving. Okay, we go to next, limit to list, now we click finish. Okay, so now the next thing is the ticket code. So we say ticket. Before the ticket code, we need to track the date and the time that the person actually enters the queue. So here we say entry dates. So this is date or time. Now we say entry time as usual, date or time. Okay, so now this entry dates in the table here, although we are going to use forms to actually enter data, but then in the table the default value here is going to be date, then this one is also going to be time. Okay, all right, now we can do the ticket code. So let's say ticket code. Now ticket code is going to be calculated. Okay, so that is going to be the client's ID now and day of entry date and months. So that's a month number of the entry date, and then we have year of the entry date. Okay, so we have this here. Now we click OK. So we can now view the table. Right click, data sheet view. You must first save the table. Yes, we save. Okay, so this is not actually working, so let's go and check it up again. So entry time, default value is not set, so default value is time. Okay, so now we are done. We can save, and now we are good to go. So now one thing that we've missed is the client's name. So let's go back to design view, before gender. So we say client's name. Okay, now we are good to go. So let's say client's name is Elizabeth Amankwa, is a female, recent checkup. So status waiting. So waiting. Now one or more values appropriate time set for your client's entry date. Okay, so there's a mistake out there. Let's go to design view again. Let me hit escape key. So entry dates. Okay, so by mistake we put this guy here. Right click, data sheet view. So now let's add the next person, Elizabeth. Now she is actually a female, recent checkup. So waiting. Now you can see the ticket code is calculated. So let's say Bernard Ejare is a male. Now it's also coming to do a follow-up. Now waiting. Now we are there. So let's say Ako Smiler, male. So I am coming for cash outs. So I'm also waiting. Okay, so now these are some couple of people that we've actually managed to get in the queue. So the next thing that we do is we create a form. So we go to create form wizard. Now here I'll click to add everything here with the exception of the client's ID. We wouldn't need this. So here I will just click next. Now columnar is okay, next. Okay, so here you're going to say FRM Q FRM Q clients. Let us modify the form. Okay, so now we are going to do some kind of little improvements to this design here. Okay, so what I will say here is I'll say tickets editor. Okay, so we have a ticket editor here. Alright, so now I will just reduce the sizes here a bit so that the form will look as cute as possible. Okay, so now ticket code shouldn't actually be too big. So of course there are other ways that we can actually place our ticket code. So let's see how best we can go about that. Okay, so we have my client's name also here neatly. So now for the ticket code, let us actually make it as small as possible. Now I'll click and then drag it far to this side. So here I'll click and then I'll drag it to this side. Okay, so now for the ticket code, I will actually enlarge the size a bit. So 18 is okay. Okay, so 18 is actually okay. Now let us make it so big. Okay, let me enlarge it also again. Okay, now the next thing is that we select everything here. We keep the colors to black. Okay, so I'll bold these guys here and I'll make it right aligned. So right aligned, let us shrink this, and then we just want to get rid of unusual spaces out here. Okay, so now let's make the form a pop-up form. So we click here, pop-up is yes. Now let's leave the rest. So record selector, we need it. Navigation button, for now we'll just disable navigation button here. So we view the form. Now this is how our form is actually looking like. Now the next thing is we get rid of this gray bar here. So we come here. Now we are seeing that gray bar because the scroll bars have been enabled. So we set it to neither. And now we go back, you can see that we don't have the gray bar here again. Okay, so the next thing is that we cut this, the entry date and entry time, we are going to put them here. So we just Control X to cut the selected. Now you paste it out here neatly. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so now here we are here. Now over here too, what we are going to do is that the shape fill, I'll make it a transparent one. Yes, so but then the entry date default value should be equal to date. Then similarly, entry time should also be equal to time. Now we save. Good. Okay, so now we can enlarge this guy a bit. Now here let's just set a very simple color. So this is a very elegant looking color here. Now let us add some couple of buttons to keep things going. So the ticket code, let us make it stand out. So we fill it with a color. So let's check one of the colors here. Okay, so we fill it with this color. Now, okay. So here we say ticket code. Okay, so let's view the form and see. So now you can see no gray bar because scroll bars were disabled, and the ticket code also shows here neatly. Okay, so we just shrink it here. Now we add buttons. So now we add buttons. I'll click. Okay, so now record operations, add new. So this will be new arrival. Now we go to next, finish. Now we come to the next button, which is going to be check in. Okay, so now for the check-in button, that's we're going to leave it on program now. So we just type in check in. So we're going to say check in, and now we're going to also add the delete or the cancel button. So we add it here. So record operation, delete record here, but then we are going to name it cancel. Okay, so finish. Okay, now let's select everything here, and the size should be 14. Now the styles, let me use the styles. Okay, so now with the cancel here, I'll add a picture. So I'll come here and then picture, I'll click. So let's say delete. Good. Now you can see that the label is still not showing, so we come in here and now we add it, let's say right. Good. So in fact we can pull this one here. so that it stands out. Okay, now this one is also saved, so let's add a button, save. So save record. Now as usual, let's set the label to right. Okay, now you can actually do colors and everything, but then I will leave them just as they are here. Okay, so now what is this check-in button? So this check-in button, right click, now build events, right click, build events. So let's go to code builder. So here we say do cmd.refresh, then do cmd.save. Then now, so that is just some basic codes we've added out there. So now let's see something here. New arrival. So let's say Andy Godfred, it's a male. Now reason is checkup. So what is the status? Now let's say waiting. So we check in. All right, so it has been added here. Once we refresh, you can see that Andy has actually been added neatly here. Now let us add a message box so that at least we will see what we are doing. So right click here, build events. Now let's dim. So let's dim KK. Now we say KK is equal to MSG box. So we say that Q data system updated successfully. So here we say VB information sources. Okay, so updated successfully. Now you're going to add a checkbox, a combo box that will actually search our queue for us. So we add a combo box. So the combo box you're going to add somewhere here. All right, so now we click, we come all the way to this side. So we come all the way to this side. Now we click and drag, find a record on my phone based on what I selected my combo box. Next, so ticket code, you're going to search by the ticket code. So let's add it here, ticket code. Next, now we'll say search. So we hit finish. Okay. So now here we are. Okay. So nowadays, let me change the color. And then here we can actually bold everything here. And in fact, here I'll fill it with the black color and the outline being white. Okay, so let's see what we've done here. Now we can actually search tickets. So once you search a ticket, you search a ticket. Okay, so guys, so that is how far we've actually come so far. Now let me reduce this a bit, or we can actually shrink it up to this side. Right click, special effects. Usually I prefer this. Sync. Good. Okay, so now we can add new arrivals. Check-in. So check-in, queue data system updated successfully. Okay, so now everything is perfectly working out here. Now the next thing is that we show those in the waiting list and those that have been saved. So we are going to create queries. So we go to create query design. So TB clients. Okay, so now here what we need, we need a client name. So we need a gender, the ticket code. Okay, so we just want to show the client's name, the gender, the tickets, now the status also. Okay, so we need client's name, gender, ticket code, and the status. Okay, so now we can also show the arrival time, but then the status here is going to change. So let me save this query. So I'll say waiting QRY. So here I'll say the status is waiting. So this query will show only the waiting people. So you can see waiting. Good. Now let's close. Right click here, copy, make a duplicate. So we say served QRY. So now with the served QRY, go to design view. This side is going to be served. Because we've not put any of them to serve, so you can see nothing is changing. So let's put one to serve, then let's see. So let's say we've served these guys. Now we come here, refresh, so you can see they are all here. So let's refresh here and then refresh here too, so you can see now these guys are in the served category. So now we have a query that shows waiting and that the one that shows served. So the next thing is that we need to show all of them here, so we can see the waiting people and those that have been served. So let's do first for the waiting. So I open waiting, I'll create a form. So form wizard. Now I will show the client name, I will show the entry time, the ticket code, and now the status. So I'll go to next. Now I'll go to, so this is columnar, it's okay. So I'll say FRM waiting list. Now let's modify this form. So this form should be as simple as possible. So I'll right click, I'll select shortest. So now let us select everything again, right click size, now narrowest. So we can actually enlarge. Good. So now we keep this here. So here we say waiting list. Okay, so these guys are the waiting people. They are waiting to be served. So we put this one here. Now we put this guy also here. So we click, we bring it neatly here. Okay, so now we are here. Let us change the color for this. So the color here should be black. Okay, now 12 is okay. Now this guy here, because it's waiting, so let's make it red, because waiting is dangerous. You know, when you're in a queue, waiting is dangerous. So alright, so now having done that, we shouldn't be able to change anything here. So right click here, or we can simply come here, data, allow addition no, allow deletions no, allow edit no. So now let's see, this only shows and we cannot edit, neither do anything here. Okay, so now we are going to make this form a continuous form. So we double click here, default view, we set it continuous. So now continuous, so now you can see it's very continuous here. It shows our queue people, I mean continuously. Okay, so now we have this one here. In fact, let me shrink the sizes a bit. I want us to keep it as simple as possible. So over here we can use column. So put column here. Okay, now here let's select these guys. Now let's shrink. Okay, so now here we have this guy here. So we should be able to also tell the total number of people in the waiting list. So let me collapse these guys a bit. Okay, so now what we do here is that we add a text box. We are going to count the number of people in the waiting list. So here I will delete this. All that we need is the expression. So here I'll select 16. Now this, now white, shape outline, transparent. Now let's add expression. So control source, we say counts. So counts, we can even count the entry time. Okay, so let's count the entry time and let's see. So we have 2 people here. Okay, now let's do away with the record selector. It's not needed here. So we come here, record selectors, no. Navigation options, no. And then scroll bars, we don't need any of them. Okay, so now we save this here. Okay, so now we have the waiting list here. So let's copy this, copy, Control V to paste. Now we say FRM saved list. Okay, now all that you need to do here is that you open this duplicated form. Now you change the record source to saved Kirawai. So data record source is saved Kirawai. Now here we can say saved list, and now we can change the color here to green. Okay, so here we come, let's change it to this color. Okay, now everything here black will be quite good here. Okay, so now let's see form view. Okay, so now you can see the saved list is now 2. Now that we are almost at the end, so let's open this. So let's open this design view. So now what we do is that we are going to add all those guys here to this very form here. Okay, so now what I will do is I will create a very little space here, but before then let me add a rectangle around this. So I'll add it neatly here. Okay, so now let me shape fill it. So let's shape fill it with this color, but then position, let's just send it to back. Good. So now what we'll do here is that we are going to create a space here. So this space we are going to put the waiting list here. So waiting list. So waiting list comes here. Okay, so now you can see that we need to collapse so that we get enough space to push these guys. So let me collapse it. Okay, so now here I'll bring these guys here. Okay, so guys, we are here now. We've got a very comfortable place to place this. So we are going to do the same thing for the saved list. So we bring that one also here, and let's delete this guy. So these are the saved people, they've been saved. Okay, so now we can actually enlarge this. Let us elongate it vertically. We do same here, we elongate it vertically. Okay, now that we are done, you make sure that there is no linkage between them. So you make sure there's no linkage between them. Okay, so now let us preview what we've done here and see. So now successfully we can see here. So let's say a new arrival comes. What is the client's name? So let's say Amada Akon. It's a female. It's a female. So let's say collect funds. Now what's the status? So let's say waiting. As soon as we check in, so queue data system updated. So now you can see that she has been added up here as the third person. So she has been added up here as a third person. Let's add one more person, new. So let's say Kojo Isuman is a male, reason, follow up. So follow up. Now status, let's say waiting. So check in. Okay, so now I can see queue is actually moving on. Now let's say it's time for us to save this person. So we copy, we search the code, we enter. Now you just update the status to saved and you click check in, and I can see that the system is actually there. This waiting list is reducing and the next person will come. So let's say this person too, we want to save him. So just enter it here. Now we choose saved and we click check in. So you can add another button instead of check in, because check in is you're adding people. So check out, that will also do the same thing probably here. So we can duplicate this and that will give us our checkout. So now our system is working. So You can improve the design here, so let's try change it to black and see whether that one gives a very good impression about the whole thing. Okay, so making it black also looks so good and then so gorgeous also. So guys, this brings us to the end of our queue management database in Microsoft Access. So if you have really loved this video, kindly put a comment out there, and then also if there's anything that you would like to discuss with me further up here, just check in the description of the video and then contact me either on WhatsApp or email, and we will have it dealt with. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the amazing videos that are coming up after this video. Thank you. See you. Bye.